So welcome to our grounding and rooting yoga class. So we're working with our earth element. So it's all about your connection. So that feeling with the earth beneath you. And working with this element, it gives you a lovely sense of feeling grounded, feeling present, as well as building strength and stability in the body. And we're going to be playing a bit, well, quite a lot with the lower body. So thinking about both that strength and flexibility. But also working with a little bit with our balance this evening too. To support your practice this evening, please have a yoga strap. And it doesn't have to be a full yoga strap like I've got. It could be a tie or scarf. You're just joining us. And then a couple of bricks or blocks, always useful just to bring the practice up to you. And I thought it'd be nice to start on our backs. We haven't started on our backs for a little while. So just taking a moment to lie down on your back, and you can be in traditional Shavasana, corpse pose, just allowing the feet to just rest slightly wider than hip distance apart, relaxing them out to the sides, and then bringing your hands out a little bit away from the body, perhaps rolling the shoulders down. If this niggles on the lower back, then just bending through the knees, placing the soles of the feet on the earth. Keep those soles of the feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart and allow the knees to rest in towards one another, coming into your constructive rest pose. So wherever you are, again, you can choose to have the hands out in the traditional sense, or if it feels nicer and if you want to bring the hands onto the body, perhaps onto the belly, or one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly, that can also feel nice. Finding that position, just taking any little wiggles, potentially shifting those shoulders up, back and down, just to create a little bit of space. Seeing if perhaps you want to nod the chin a little bit further down to the chest, just to give you a little bit of length down the back of the neck. And then taking a big deep breath in through the nose. Sigh out through the mouth. So taking a big deep breath in through the nose. Sighing out through the mouth. And one more of those. Inhaling through the nose. Sighing your day out through your mouth. And in that lying down position, just allowing yourself just to notice that feeling of connection with the ground beneath you. So we're working with this sensation of physical touch with our earth element. So feel this connection between yourself and the floor, yourself and the earth plane beneath you. Noticing which parts of the body are in contact with the floor. And see if you can just soften those down and perhaps make them a little bit heavy, like you're melting into the floor. Beautiful. So in that lying down position, just starting at your toes now. See if you can gently do a really soft and slow body scan, starting with the toes and gently working your way through, checking in with your body, but just starting to bring this body awareness in. So you're just going to start to glide your attention up from the toes, going all the way up the body, but do it really, really slowly. And if you notice something that perhaps needs a little bit of attention, try not to analyze it, but maybe give it a couple of breaths just to see if you can create a little bit of softness. It's often those areas of tightness, tension, little niggles that we notice. You can pause and just give it a breath or two to see if you can find a little bit of ease, and then move on to the next bit. Just taking your time with this. If you did rapidly go up, then you're going to start working your way back down again. So we just continue the exercise, but go in the opposite way. But do you try and keep it nice and slow? Really using this as a moment to connect with yourself. And then once hopefully you're starting to work your way up, and if you've now worked your way up to the top once, seeing if you can start to feel the sense of this whole body lying on the earth. Feeling this kind of inhale, imagine that the ground is breathing up and into the body. You're getting this energy from the earth, and exhaling, feeling the energy drawing down into gravity, feeling this sense of softness. Inhale, sense of alertness drawing up from the earth plane, and then exhale, softness, heaviness down into the body. Really nice. And starting to make your breath now a little bit more spacious. So option to bring the hands to the belly if it's helpful. Just coming into some deeper belly breaths. Trying to encourage the rise of the stomach on the inhale. And then see if you can make your exhale effortless. So really encouraging that inhale, creating a little bit of energy through the body with that. And then really effortless exhale. Wonderful. Starting to wiggle the fingers and the toes, just drawing a bit of physical awareness back into the body. Take perhaps a full body stretch, reaching the arms up and overhead, pointing perhaps and flexing those toes, bringing the feet up towards the shins and then pointing them away. Really feeling into the whole of that body. And then we're going to start to go into our physical practice with a little bit of our strap work. So it's a nice way to start to connect with our lower body. So placing the soles of the feet on the floor if they're not already, bringing the left foot up, and you have a choice of where you put your strap or your belt or scarf or whatever you've got at home. You can either put it around the ball of the foot, so that kind of juicy, fleshy bit just underneath the toes, or if it feels more comfortable, you can put it just above the heels. So see what feels good for you. For many of us, the ball of the foot feels like the most comfortable, but we're sort of avoiding the middle bit. It's either at the front or the back, basically. And then pressing that foot away, starting to feel the heel extend to the sky, feeling a stretch down the leg. Use the strap to apply a bit of pressure, but you're keeping your upper body relaxed on the earth. So allow a sense of the shoulders to draw down, Feel the earth supporting you. Breathing down the back of that leg. And you might find after a few breaths, perhaps you want to extend that right leg along the floor. And perhaps you might start working the foot a little bit closer in if it feels good and you've got the space for it. If it feels too much, just draw it back. Looking for a gentle stretch at this side rather than overdoing it. We are entering warm-up mode. One more breath as you are. And then bringing both parts of the strap into your left hand, bringing your right hand onto your right hip kind of crease area, and then using the strap to support your leg as it comes out to the side. Find yourself in a lovely inner thigh stretch. Press that ball of the foot or the heel of the foot into the strap. Use the right hand to really ground that hip down into the earth, so feeling that connection. Coming back to your belly breath, so it feels good. Noticing any sensations that you feel. Inhaling that foot back up to center. And then if that right leg is still bent, extending it along the floor to give yourself a little bit more space, swapping the strap into the right hand, and then gently bringing that foot across. And let's try and keep the left hip grounded onto the floor. So rather than rolling over, see if you can keep that grounded. You can pop your left hand into that left hip crease if it helps, or bring that left hand out into the side. Pausing here as you press again away with that foot, feeling the stretch now into the outer hip area. Just a couple more breaths here, you're doing really well. And then bringing that foot back up to center, release the strap off and bring the knee into your chest. Give yourself a big hug here. Lovely. Placing both feet back on the floor. Take a moment in your constructive rest pose just to notice the difference between sides. Perhaps you can feel some tingling or sensations in the left. Perhaps the right is feeling a little bit neglected. Just notice what you feel. Maybe a sense of length. And then when you're ready, we're going to gently pick up that right foot, again placing the strap either at the ball or just above the heel of the foot. Pressing away with the heel so we start to feel the stretch. So we do want the leg to be pretty straight. We're trying to avoid locking it out, but I don't mind if there is a bend to that knee, but if you want, you can have the strap a little bit further away so you get a more straight leg. Sometimes that's more effective, and then pull the leg in until you feel a nice gentle stretch. Again, keeping the upper body relaxed on the earth, feeling that connection through the torso. Feel a sense of stability and support from the earth beneath you. Breathing here deeply. See if you can send your breath down the back of the leg. Option to extend that left leg down the floor. Option to bring that foot a little bit closer in if you've got more space. Again, playing with your version of the stretch. We're not taking it to the extremes. We're just looking for a gentle leg stretch at this stage. Plenty more to follow. Beautiful. When you're ready, bringing the straps now into right hand, we're going to bring the foot out to the side, using that strap really to support. If you've got furniture at home and the foot is going in towards it, then you can actually press that foot into the furniture. So don't worry too much. You can find that it will give you a nice isometric stretch if you do it that way. So rather than using the strap for the resistance, use the furniture. Option to place that left hand into the left hip, just to again provide this sense of grounding down. Often that hip wants to come up off the ground. Use the left hand just to encourage it. So again, find this sense of grounded rootedness into the floor. One more breath as you are. And then inhale the foot back up to center, extending that left leg down the mat if it's not already, and bringing the strap into the opposite hand. Guide the foot across the opposite side of the body. Again, not coming into a full twist, trying to keep that right hip on the earth, pressing away into that foot. If it tends to bend in this position, see if you can straighten it out and really press away as you again find that groundedness through the right hip at the same time. Feeling that sensation in the outer right thigh somewhere, right hip. Breathing into that, allowing yourself to just find this connection with the earth below. Coming back to this whenever your mind wanders in this class. Softening through the face, the jaw, the neck. One more breath here. Inhale the leg up to center. Release the strap off. Bring the knee in towards you. Finding that nice little hug. Bring both knees in towards the chest. And just taking some hip circles, bringing the knees in towards the chest, then out to the side, round, and coming back together. So just kind of like breaststroke. You're working with the knees, drawing apart, away from each other, and then back together. Next time the knees come into center, it's changing directions and drawing them away from you and then apart. You can have the hands behind the thighs if that feels more comfortable than on the knees. So again, choose what feels good for you. Use your tummy to support. And then bring those knees into your chest. Give yourself a big, big hug here, perhaps a little rock from side to side. And let's just find a little moment to connect with this lower spine area. So this area is associated with our root chakra, which is very much associated with the earth element. So it's all linked. So just drawing some connection, perhaps with a little massage physically into that lower spine. Then taking your time, either rolling onto one side to come up, or option to do a little rock and roll up and down the spine until you come up to find any version of seated, but we're going to roll through into our all fours position. And again, continuing to work with our spine, thinking about that connection with the root chakra. Let's flow through a few cat-cows. So again, thinking about tilting that tailbone up to the spine, bring the belly towards the floor, shoulder blades come together, gaze towards the top of the mat. Inhale into your cow, and then tucking that tailbone under, pressing away with those hands, feel the belly come towards the spine as you bring the chin towards the chest. Cat pose. Exhaling here. Inhale, cow. And rolling through. Being careful that those elbows are not locking out. So seeing if you can keep those elbow creases together, fingertips spread nice and wide. And seeing if you can draw your awareness into that lower spine area, your root chakra area. Noticing that tilt of the tailbone, how that perhaps changes the sensations into that space. Just one more of each. Coming back to center, bring the hands of palm distance forward, tucking the toes under, pressing away with the hands and pushing the bum up and back, finding your downward facing dog. Finding that lovely straight spine, rocking perhaps through the head just to release any tension in the neck, and then perhaps giving a pad of the feet, walking the dog, bringing one knee in as you straighten the opposite leg. No pressure to have the heels anywhere near the floor. It's just providing another little leg stretch for us. Beautiful. Coming back to stillness and then gently walking the feet up towards your hands. So you end up in a really gentle forward fold. So keep the knees bent if it's comfortable to do so. Just take a moment to have a little nod of the head here. Again, releasing through that upper body. A little shake. See if you can let go. Option to grab opposite elbows here. Pressing into those heels, engaging through the tummy. Enjoy the fold. Allowing that weight to dangle over, gravity to do its work. Feel that connection through your feet. And notice what happens if you rock front to back. How about side to side? Finding yourself bang in the middle. Releasing the hands off and bringing the hands behind the ankles. So you might need to bend the knees generously in order to get down there. Pausing here, we're going to inhale up to a halfway lift, gliding those hands up, so probably end up somewhere behind the knees. Exhale to gently fold forward. So we're going to continue working this, giving ourselves a little bit of a lower leg massage as we go up and down, breath and movement together. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Taking your time, move your own time and your own breath. Beautiful. The next time you end up in your forward fold, we're going to now do a gentle roll up. So gently rolling yourself up, pressing into the heels, tucking the tummy, and keep those hands gliding up the back of the legs. They're going to come and glide all the way up and over your bum to find that root chakra space just at that lower back. Then gently rolling yourself forward, gliding the hands all the way down the backs of the legs. Coming back over. I'm going to do this a couple more times, so take your time, your own pace. Rolling through. And just enjoying the sensation, giving your legs a bit of TLC through those hands. And apply a little bit of pressure so it does feel like a little bit of massage if that feels good. Or just gently glide, whatever feels good for you today. Making this one your last. There's no rush. And we'll all meet in Tadasana eventually at the top of our mats. When you're there, taking a moment to roll those shoulders up and down to find the space, spiral those thumbs open. And taking a moment to check in with the feet. Can I perhaps adjust my feet so they're more like shoulder distance apart if I've gone a bit wide with them? And see if I can lift the toes up, spread them nice and wide to plant them on the floor. Taking a moment here to perhaps lower the gaze, maybe rocking forward and back. Noticing that sensation between your feet and the earth plane beneath you. Moving that from side to side. Again, noticing that physical connection between your body and the earth. And then coming back to center. Taking some big, deep belly breaths here. Use those breaths to settle you, to bring you back to the present. Wonderful. Blinking those eyes open or raising them up. You're going to gently bring the hands to the hips. And engaging through the tummy, find a little spot on the floor. And let's start to come in through some calf raises. So you're coming up onto your heels and then gently coming back down. Bringing breath and movement together, inhaling up, exhaling down. Start to add the arms in if you want, coming up to shoulder height. Exhaling down. Again, use that tummy to support you. Once you've done a few of these, you might want to bring the hands up overhead. Always the option to take the hands out or lower the arms just to keep the hands at shoulder height if it feels too much. Soon start burning. A few more. See if you can really connect that breath and movement. Allow it to feel almost meditative, even if your calves are starting to burn. Two more. Really nice. Coming back to your Tadasana, feeling if you can connect the feet into the earth, lowering the gaze once more and just noticing the sensations in the lower body. Perhaps drawing your attention back to the feet and feeling that connection. Beautiful. When you're ready, we're going to go through a little chair pose flow. So keeping the feet as they are, you can bring the hands to the hips. You're going to sink the bum down, find your chair pose. I'm doing it without arms, but you can start adding the arms in. So coming to a chair pose, that gaze lifted, our bum is sinking back towards the floor. Can be a little bit higher up as long as we're feeling it. Again, you don't have to go super far down, but make sure you're feeling a bit of work. And then you're going to fold over. Again, feeling that nice, gentle forward fold stretch. And then we're gently coming up to find our chair pose. And then we press through the heels to come up to standing. So adding in the arms, and I'm going to talk you through the breath at the same time. So we're going to inhale into our chair pose, arms up if that works. We're going to exhale down into our forward fold. And then we're going to inhale up, arms above, chair pose. Exhale, Tadasana. Let's flow through this a few times. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Couple more in your own time. Making this round your last one. And pausing once more in your Tadasana, just noticing any sensations, feeling once more that connection through the feet into that earth plane. Wonderful. So ensuring you're at the top of the mat if you've come a little bit further back, just getting yourself up there and having your bricks or blocks handy, having them either side of you. We're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale through the midline. You can use your bricks or blocks or have fingertips on the floor. I'm going to step the left knee back, lowering that knee down to the ground. Feel free to add any padding underneath the knee if it feels too much, or you've got a hard floor. And then you can have the bricks or blocks just beside you and, use the fingertips perhaps on there. So option to stay like this, or option you can bring those arms up. Thinking about tucking the tailbone under wherever you are so you can feel a nice stretch down the front of that left leg. And feeling that heart open towards the front. Length through the spine. Engage through the tummy. Breathe here. We're going to inhale to grow a little bit taller. Exhale, let's soften down towards the earth. Inhale up, exhale down. Playing with this movement a couple more times. Inhale to rise, exhale to soften. The next time you come up, pausing at the top, and then exhaling the hands either side of that front foot. And wiggle the heel forward, come onto or hinge yourself back slightly. We're finding ourselves in our half split pose with the toes coming towards the shins. Keep the hands on the bricks or blocks if it's handy, but always change the settings or have the fingertips on the earth, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Inhale to grow a little bit taller wherever you are, so you feel this length through the spine. And then exhale, option to forward fold. Again, doesn't have to be a big movement. Inhaling up, exhaling, coming over. See if you can hinge from the hips. Pressing that right heel into the earth. Feeling that strength as you build this flexibility. Beautiful. Making this one your last one. Next time you come up, gently rolling yourself forward. You can bring the bricks or blocks either side of that front foot. Actually, sorry, I've missed one. We're going to bring them to the inside of that front foot. And again, you can choose your setting, either medium, perhaps the highest setting, or the lowest, depending on what works for you. You're going to hinge the right leg out a little bit so that they bring the right toes out towards the side. We're coming into lizard pose. So again, you can keep the hands on the bricks or blocks, the back knee on the earth, or you're going to tuck the back toes under, press that back heel away, coming into the high version of the pose. Feeling again this length through the spine, perhaps use the tummy just to help find that extra space, feel the length as you grow up tall. And then option perhaps have a little rock or add some little circles in here, just add a little fluidity into the pose if you like. Otherwise, just pausing and breathing, feeling the connection into the earth. Beautiful. One more breath. Exhale, lower the knee back down to the earth. We're going to bring the bricks or blocks now into their lowest position, bringing the fingertips nice and wide. The heel of the hand is right at the very bottom of the bricks or blocks. And the bricks or blocks are about shoulder distance apart, just to the inside of that right foot. Tuck the toes, the back toes under, and then using the tummy to support, you're going to step the back foot to meet the front. So we come into a little squat at the top of the mat. And again, you can keep the hands on the bricks or blocks, or you can bring them into a little prayer position, Anjali Mudra, if you want to play with your balance. Again, perhaps feeling this connection with the base chakra, that root chakra, base of the spine. Should be feeling this sensation of rooting down towards the earth. Pausing here just for one more breath. Bringing the hands down, perhaps finding those bricks or blocks once more. Again, playing with the settings as you need. You're going to then gently press down into the heels, coming to find yourself in a forward fold as you shimmy the feet back to your shoulder distance apart position. Bringing the hands behind the ankles and gently rolling yourself up, giving yourself that massage down the back or up the backs of the legs. Wonderful. Coming to find your Tadasana pose once more. Noticing how you're feeling, perhaps how the energy is shifting in the body. Maybe things are feeling a little bit more enlivened or a little more stretched. And then when you're ready, we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Inhaling the arms up, exhale through the midline. And then we're going to inhale to a halfway lift, and this time step back with the right foot. So coming to find that low lunge on the opposite side. Again, option to work with the bricks or blocks here. And this is great if we can play inhaling to grow a little bit taller and sink a little bit further like this without the hands, or we can bring the arms up and inhale to grow taller with the arms growing taller as well, and then exhale to soften everything a little bit down towards the earth. Wherever you are, just remembering to tuck that tailbone under as we want this nice quad stretch at the same time. Inhale up, exhale, soften towards the earth. Press into the whole of that front foot. Inhale up, exhale, soften. The next time you come up, bringing the hands around to find those bricks or blocks. And we're going to gently hinge back through bring the hips towards the heels, coming onto that front heel, wiggle it forward as you need. So we're looking for a pretty straight leg, but please don't lock it out. And then just checking that the hips are square. So if you need to, you can think about drawing that left hip back as you bring the right hip forward so the pelvis feels like it's more in a straight line. Nice. From here, pausing, see if you can find that length through the spine. Use the fingertips or the blocks to support. And then use an in-breath to grow, to find that length. Exhale to gently fold forward from the hips. So again, it can be a really tiny movement, really doesn't have to be a lot. We're just looking for a slight sensation, playing with this dynamic stretch. Pressing through that left heel. One more. Next time you rise, gently coming up, rolling forward to find that low lunge once more. And then we're bringing the bricks or blocks to the inside of the left foot, wiggling those left toes out to the side, even off the mat, depending on your positioning on the mat, and the toes at an angle. Using the bricks or blocks perhaps on that high setting and just working with that back knee on the ground. You can stay here and even have a little wiggle in this position, or if you wanted to come into the high version, pressing away with that back heel, either finding length through the spine and pausing here, or starting to add a little rock or a little circle if you want to add a little fluidity into your movement this evening. Beautiful. When you're ready, choosing your position of your bricks or blocks, actually we'll lower that knee down to start with. So you can choose whether you come into the mid, perhaps the lower position or the high position. We're going to come back through to find that yogi squat. So tucking the back toes under, get yourself in your position, use your tummy to support as you bring the foot up and around. Again, using the bricks or blocks perhaps to bring the floor up to you, or otherwise, and concentrating on drawing that tailbone down, or otherwise bringing the hands into Anjali Mudra. So they can be, the elbows can be above the knees, so don't get caught in thinking you have to be over like this. You can just be nice and tall and encourage that lower base of the spine to draw down towards the earth. This pose is great for connecting into that root chakra and feeling this sensation of grounding through. If you're finding you're really wobbling with your heels, you can place a blanket underneath. Perhaps if you've got low blocks, these are a little bit high, I find that you could use them underneath the heels as well. One more breath. And then bringing the fingertips down to the earth or the bricks or blocks. We're going to press down through the heels, hinge up to find our forward fold, wiggle those toes back to center. Bring the hands back behind the ankles and gently start to curl up as we rise up, enjoying our massage all the way up the backs of the legs to the base of the spine. Allowing those arms just to fall to one side, gently open. Lowering the gaze, coming back to our Tadasana. Allowing this moment to reconnect to the present, to the sensations in the body, and hopefully to the breath. See if you can encourage that breath to get a little bit deeper. Using this as a moment to pause, to slow down. Wonderful. Blinking the eyes open. We're going to flow through another little sequence, which has a little bit of a challenging balance involved, but we're going to do it all together and it'll be fun. So when you're ready, bringing the hands to the hips, you're going to press through the feet, find a little spot on the floor to gaze at. Bringing the weight into the right foot. We're going to hinge from the hip. Well, we're hinging from the hips, keeping the torso in line with the heel as we're hinging forward to find our warrior three pose. So don't forget with this pose, I'll just give myself a little bit more space on the mat. We want everything to be in line. So we're working towards parallel, but don't worry if you're nowhere near. Pausing just for a couple of breaths, if you can square off through the hips. And then gently stepping that left foot back, come and find a high lunge. See if you can keep that back heel off the earth, pressing away into that heel. Lovely, straightening through the back leg. Pausing here, inhale the arms up if you want, or keep the hands on the hips. We inhale to rise, exhale to soften. A couple more of those. Beautiful. Bringing the hands back round to the hips if it helps. We're going to kick the back heel out to the side. Keep the bend through the front knee. Inhale your arms up, finding your warrior one. Pausing here for the moment, just feeling this strength. See if you can really press through the whole of the front foot, outer edge of the back foot. Feel that connection through the feet. Engaging through the tummy, feel this sense of strength and stability. And then bringing the hands to the hips, we straighten off through the front leg, tiny little micro bend, and keeping the hips facing towards the front or top edge of your mat. You're going to hinge forward, find your pyramid pose. Hopefully your bricks or blocks are still handy. Bring them either side of you, either side of that front foot, and let's do a little inhale to grow taller. Exhale, fold down. And again, see if we can encourage the right hip to come backwards as we encourage the left hip to come forward. So we have this sense of the pelvis being in a straight line across the mat. Couple more breaths working to play with that fold. If it feels too much, you can always just pause in this halfway lift position and just work with the breath there. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, coming back to that halfway lift position, you're going to bring the bricks or blocks just to the outside of that front foot. You can, in fact, work with the bricks or blocks being a little bit further in front of the foot. It makes it a little bit easier, but have a go. See, it's there or thereabouts. You might need to adjust your own position. You can bring the back foot in a little bit to help square off those hips and then engage through the tummy, find something to stare at. And we're kicking the foot up towards the sky as we hinge over, coming to find our standing split pose. So working those bricks or blocks as close as possible towards the foot, and then potentially looking to grab the foot to play with the balance even further. It's not a pose that I'm particularly strong at, but we're looking to kick that heel up the back heel up as strongly as possible. Don't worry about the front leg being bent, pressing strongly into that foot. Allow yourself to soften over, to fold over, one more breath, and then stepping that back foot to meet the front, come into a soft forward fold, relax and release, allow everything to let go. Have a little shimmy, a little bit of free movement, anything you need here. Pressing your feet strongly into the earth. Let's bring the hands behind the backs of the legs as we roll ourselves up. and back to our standing position. Really nice. Very good, everyone. We've got to do the same thing on the opposite side now. So just find that Tadasana, find that point of stability. Allowing yourself just to get settled in your mountain pose and really feeling that connection through the feet really helps to ground, like that sense of grounding can really help to support your balance and your balance postures. When you're ready, you're going to blink those eyes open if you gave them a close, and we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So staring at a point on the floor, bringing your weight into the left foot, engaging through the tummy, kicking that right heel back, hinging forwards. Find that warrior three, whichever version you're going for. You could be a little bit higher than I am. Pause for a couple of breaths, pressing strongly through that standing leg, press away into that back heel, square off through the hips. Plant the right foot back and down behind you. Careful with that balance, keeping the hands on the hips does help. Press away with that back heel. Inhale the arms up if it's comfortable to do so. High lunge. Inhale to grow taller. Exhale to sink down. Inhale up. Exhale down. So have a little play, a couple more times. We know this movement now. This feeling of softening down. Inhaling to rise away from the earth. Beautiful. The next time that you come down, allowing the hands to come back to the hips, kick the back heel out to the side. Find that warrior one, just checking that the hips are facing towards the top edge of that mat. And always bring the legs a little bit wider if required. Pausing a moment just to connect back with the feet. Can I press through the whole of that front foot, outer edge of the back foot, feeling the length through the spine, inhaling the arms up. That feels comfortable to do so. Pausing here, connecting with the core, connecting with your breath. And then bringing the hands back down, straightening off through that front leg. Again, checking, can I really start to imagine that I'm bringing the left hip back as I'm bringing the right hip bone forward, as I hinge from the hips to come over, starting in that halfway lift pyramid position. We inhale to find length through the spine. Exhale to forward fold over. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Again, playing with your own range of motion here. Your body's unique. It should be nice and warm now, but we also don't want to overdo it. So definitely don't want any pain. Just taking gentle extra stretches. Pressing strongly through those feet. Beautiful. Next time you pause in your halfway lift position, bringing the bricks or blocks perhaps just in front of that foot to start with. Spinning around onto that back heel, perhaps to get yourself set up and ready. And then when you're ready, thinking about folding forward with the torso and kicking the foot back up to the sky behind you. Perhaps bringing those bricks or blocks closer towards the feet, or perhaps seeing if you can connect with the ankle or foot to play with the balance. One hand and then the other. One more breath. And then gently bringing that back foot to the top of your mat. Coming into your forward fold. Take a moment to really relax and release. Maybe do some rolls here. You can bring the legs a little bit wider. Have a little shimmy. And then bringing the feet shoulder distance apart, gently bringing the hands 3 to 5 inches in front of you, coming into a little toe stand, or gently coming onto your bum. And at this point, if you wanted to, if you had a something like a blanket or one of these, throwing everything around, one of these low bricks or blocks, then you could pop that. So particularly if you know you're quite naturally inflexible, you could pop something like this underneath your bum, could be a cushion, whatever you want, or you can just work with the floor, perhaps just scooping those sitting bones out, and we're coming into our staff pose. Keep your strap handy, bring the hands either side, feeling the connection between your body and the earth. So if you can draw the legs down towards the earth, bring the toes towards the shins. Inhale the hands above. Exhale to touch the top of the head. So it's inhale up to the sky. Exhale, feeling this sense of grounding energy through the head and down to the earth. One more of these. And then grabbing your strap, placing around both balls of the feet, and you can bend your knees as you need. So you can just be doing this from the floor or using a folded blanket, as I've suggested, just to lift those hips up a little bit higher, which will make it a little bit easier. You're going to inhale to rise, and then exhale to gently start to scoop yourself forward. And you don't often need to go very far before you start feeling a gentle fold. You're pressing the feet into those hands, looking to find a nice stretch down the back of the legs. And you're working towards touching the toes, but don't worry if you're nowhere near that. We're using that strap to guide us down. Connecting the backs of the legs on the earth. Not overstretching or grasping with the hands, more of a feeling of gentle pull and using the length from the strap to extend the arms than us completely stretching over. Hinge from the hips. Inhale to lift the gaze. Exhale to fold once more. See if you can roll those inner thighs. Imagine that you're drawing them in and back. And then when you're ready, really slowly, gently releasing that fold off, releasing the hands through the straps. Coming back up to that staff pose and gently bringing the legs just wider than your hips, hands behind to support. Bring the knees over to one side to exhale. Inhale back up to center. Exhale across. Beautiful. Taking your time just to roll yourself down onto your back. And taking a moment just to take any last movements here. So if you wanted to add any additional layers, I see people going for it. We're moving into our relaxation. If you wanted to do any additional extra movements, whether it's another full body stretch or a couple of windscreen wipers or belly twists, and just taking a moment to move through those poses at relative speed before we find ourselves in a soft position for relaxation. So choosing that Shavasana, that corpse pose position option that I gave you at the start of the class, or constructive rest, the other one. If you wanted to play with any props or add bolsters or cushions into the equation, either under the knees or perhaps down under the spine, to again encourage that connection with the spine, feel free to adjust. It's your practice. And then taking a moment to take a deep breath in through the nose and gently sighing out through the mouth. Another couple of those. Allowing your body to feel this connection with the earth beneath you. Feel that sense of support, security. Feel like the earth is cradling you. And then I invite you to do the same exercise that we started our practice with. So to go through a body scan, starting with the toes and working your way gently up through the body. Gently checking in with yourself or scanning softly, making any observations along the way. You can take your time with this. Easing any tension, perhaps using your out breath. Just checking as you're doing this that there's not any tension already in the face. Often when we're releasing tension elsewhere in the body, it tends to travel up into the jaw and cheeks. So just take a moment to soften there. If you find yourself being caught analysing, it's very natural, but we're just going to park the kind of inner narrative this evening and gently move back into your body scan, moving across to the next body part. Again, just taking your time. If you reach the top because you've sped through, just going back down the opposite way. Allowing your awareness now to draw to the whole of your body, lying here on the floor. Feeling that connection with the earth beneath you. Feeling this sense of heavy softness, like you're melting into the earth. And then starting to draw your attention to the natural rise and fall of the breath. Observing the natural flow of the air in and out. Starting to draw some deeper breaths, encouraging the breath back down into the belly. Feeling the connection of the back expanding into the floor. And starting to bring some physical awareness back into the body. Perhaps a little wiggle of the fingers and the toes. Maybe a little stretch or hugging the knees into your chest. And when you're ready, rolling onto your favorite side, just pausing there for a moment or two. That lovely fetal position, position of rebirth against the earth. When you're ready, using the hands to support you, feeling that connection through the hands to guide you up into a comfortable seated position. Keeping those eyes closed with a very soft gaze. We'll finish our practice together by inhaling the arms up and around and up to the sky. Exhale the hands to heart center, bowing the head towards the hands, feel mind and body connect. And taking a moment to thank yourself for stepping on your mat, taking this time and space for this strength and stability and hopefully lovely feelings of groundedness. Thank you very much for your practice, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.